Here we are. Well, good evening, everyone. It's so great to be here with you this evening. My name is Lainey Hendricks, and I am here on behalf of Far West Pels, or Far West President-elect Learning Session. And I'm so excited for all of you, especially the presidents-elect that are here this evening. You are on an awesome journey, not just in your own leadership development, but for the role that you're going to assume on July 1st to take your club to the next level and do some amazing things with your club members. This evening, we are blessed to have one of our favorites in-house, Angela Lopez. She is the Supervisor of Membership Growth and Experience for our zones, zones 26 and 27, as well as part of 25 as well. She's been our membership guru to support us at Far West Pels, previously Far West Pets, for different membership talks as well. And so we're very fortunate to have her with us this evening to talk about Rotary Club Central. What is it? Why is this tool very valuable to you as you plan out not only your term, but talk with your future leaders in your club about long range goals and plans to continue to build on progress year to year. So without that, or with that, enough for me. I'm going to hand it over to the pro Angela to take it from here.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I am coming to you from hot Phoenix, Arizona. While I work for headquarters in Illinois, I do live within the region, so I get to live in Phoenix, Arizona. It's already way too hot. And I'm really excited to be here tonight, and I'm so sad that I won't be able to be with you at Far West Pals, but I'm so excited that we can connect here. We spent the first pre-session about how to get into my Rotary and how to get into Rotary Club Central. So I want to just say that if you are experiencing trouble getting into my Rotary and getting into Rotary Club Central, you can ask in the chat. And if it's something that Lainey can help you with and answer in the chat, she will. Or we will answer more questions about how to get into Rotary Club Central right after the session or in an additional session where you can ask one of the leaders in your district about it. So we will not be answering those specific questions in this hour. All right, I'm going to share my screen for my presentation. Share. We had a little issue with this before. Does everybody see a cream colored screen with a Rotary logo at the top?
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic. What I want to do is disambiguate a little bit of this gigantic system we have on Rotary, on my Rotary. I was just at Southwest Pels and I was talking about my Rotary and I was talking about the brand center, and she raised her hand and she's like, why are there so many websites? I've got this website, I got that website. And I agree. There's a ton of websites out there, and it's really hard for ourselves. And when we're trying to get our club members to get involved online, to figure out where to send them for what. So Rotary International only operates two websites, rotary.org and myrotary.org. If you type my.rotary.org, you'll get there. If you type myrotary.org, you'll get there. So usually we call this site My Rotary, and this is rotary.org. Rotary.org is external facing. It's award winning. There's no login for rotary.org. For my.rotary.org, it's internal facing. It needs a login for many of the features. And I didn't put it here because I didn't want it to be official, but it is not award winning, unfortunately. There's a lot of things that are rough with my Rotary. So, in addition to these two websites that are operated by Rotary International, you might have a zone website for zones 26, 27. Not might, you do have a zone website that has like an expert hub and cool stuff on there. They've got resources for you. You've got your district website. You probably have a club website. And then you probably have Club Runner or DACDB. Club Runner and DACDB is like manage your members, and so many people ask me questions about them, but they're third-party systems that you pay for or your district pays for that operate and they talk to RI, but they're not operated or owned by Rotary International. You can actually add and take off members and do everything that you, or not everything you could do in Club Runner or DACDB, but a lot of the stuff about adding and deleting members, you can, and run reports, you can do that in my Rotary. When you're on rotary.org and you click on any of these top sections, it has a massive drop-down menu. In this drop-down menu, a lot of the links take you to my Rotary because people get confused. We're making an attempt so that if you go to rotary.org instead of myrotary.org, you still have an opportunity to get there without going back into Google. I put a big star next to all the things that'll take you actually over to my Rotary. Again, this is an external facing website. So it's got that press center. It's got all this information about how we promote peace and all of our projects and what are Rotary clubs and how do you join. When you scroll down, you get an opportunity to click on all these links again. But again, all of these stars are taking you where? To my Rotary. You got my Rotary here, my Rotary here. Rotary Club Central, which is where we're headed also. So if you find that you ended up on rotary.org instead of my Rotary, you can still get to Rotary Club Central, which is where we're going to enter our goals. So while this is a massive amount of information, Rotary is attempting, in it the best way possible, to make sure that no matter where you end up, you can still find out where you're going. So let's
So
just,
quick question. Why do we have DAC Why don't we just use my Rotary?
so DACTB has a couple of good systems. You can manage your committees in DACTB, in Club Runner. You can there's like finance modules, which you could find there. You have the ability to send mass emails. There's a lot of like create a newsletter. So there's lots of things that are good about using DACTB and Club Runner. I'm certainly not here to tell you to not have them. There are clubs that don't use Club Runner and DACTB. It is possible to operate your club. You might like need to also have QuickBooks or also have other systems. But I even have an example of a club that's quite large that doesn't use DACTB. They just operate out of Google, like a Google platform. So it is possible. And there's a lot of people that find a lot of value in those third-party systems. In the United States or North America, it's primarily Club Runner and DACTB, but there are about 13 third-party systems in the world. So, and if you are looking to not have those, I'd be happy to talk with you about it and connect you with some clubs that don't use it, if it's something that you're trying to get away from. All right, so on myrotary.org, on the left-hand side here, these are all the places that people think are completely different websites. But on My Rotary, you're going to see the Brand Center, the Learning Center, the Grant Center, the Service Project Center, and Rotary Club Central. Why it's not Rotary Club Center? I mean, come on now. Goal Center could have been called Goal Center. But on My Rotary, you can add or remove members, you can run reports, find resources, make your logos. I mean, this whole list of here that you're looking at, you can approve your grants, update club information, make donations, see your personal donation information, update your personal information, and so much more. It would actually be impossible for us to record just a session on how to get around My Rotary. There's so much. We really have to put it on you to poke around, and when you have a question, you need to come to us and ask. On My Rotary, which that's just showing up with a heart there, I don't know why my picture isn't showing up. Hold on. Nope. One second. I was hearting this little glass, this little search glass. Because everybody see this little search glass? Because it's working a lot better now. And something I mentioned before was that if you get to My Rotary and you're like, I want to enter goals, but I don't see the word goals anywhere, and you've completely forgotten that it is called Rotary Club Central, you can click on this search, you can click Site Search. It takes you to here, you can say goals. How to report goals in Rotary Club Central. When you click on that, there's a link right there to Rotary Club Central. And so I had attempted to heart the little the little square there to show you. So when you put in goals, it gives you lots of information about where to find out where to put this in. Or you can call me. So I put my information here. I can send out I'll put my link in the chat. There's a bookings link, so you can always schedule time with me. I'm more of a person where it's like, while I'm doing a technical thing here and I'd be happy to answer a technical question for you, I'd also be happy to help you figure out what your goals should be. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit. Lainey, is there anything in the chat right now that I need to see?
Nope, just some follow-up questions on some of the tools you mentioned, but we've got it
Oh,
handled.
cool. Awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about Rotary's action plan. Rotary has an action plan, and one of my favorite questions that I've been asked is like, how do we know that we're moving in the same direction when every single club has different projects and every single club has a different vibe and every single club is doing things wildly different? And the Rotary action plan isn't something that RI just created and is forcing us to do. These are 4 priority areas that we're all working on, even if we have vastly different projects. Increasing our impact, which is making decisions that are grounded in evidence, expanding our reach, being inclusive, engaging, compassionate, and ambitious. We've got engaging, we've got creating meaningful relationships across decades, continents, and then increasing our ability to adapt. Now, tonight, we're going to focus just on the increasing our impact. And a lot of times when we hear just the name increasing our impact, we forget that a huge part of this action plan area is making decisions grounded in evidence. If we can increase our impact and make decisions grounded in evidence, it's going to be able to affect every other part of the action plan. It's going to be able to help increase our ability to adapt. How many people have suggested something to their board and their board is like, absolutely not. That's not how we do it in Rotary. Anybody? No hands? That's great. I'm so excited that your boards are so excited to do anything and everything you want to do. A lot of new members come in and express a difficulty with trying to get their club to try new things. If you had data about what you were doing and how impactful it was, you might be able to bring real information and data about what your club is doing and how your club is operating to be able to bring it to your board or your club members to be able to make a change. It'll be able to increase our ability to adapt. We can expand our reach because if we increase our impact, people will be drawn to us as an organization. I have said time and time again that in disaster areas, Rotary grows. When people see that there's an issue in the world and people are there to solve it and they are also looking to solve it, and those people are Rotarians, people flock to Rotary clubs. But I'm not here saying we need to grow, we need disasters so because it's good for membership. No. But when we have good projects, when we have done our research in the community about what's a good project or like what makes our club operate the best, we will be able to expand our reach and reach more people. We will be able to enhance our participant engagement if we are able to show the impact and the value of what they are doing in the community, in the club. And so being able to track some of the things that we do is just enormously important to everything that we're trying to do. This is something called Rotary's virtuous circle. We've got members where they're doing good. That's their time, their talent, their treasure. They talk about it and then they get more members. Woohoo! Easy. That's it. Solved membership. A lot of people are trying to funnel members into the top. And as soon as we get members, we're going to do good. We're going to find something for them to do. But instead, I try to encourage clubs to find their purpose, find that goal that they might need more people for. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because we're about to get into some numbers. And numbers are an internal message. When I talk about fundraising, I don't want to say, I need $100 because I don't need $100. What I need are these kids vaccinated against polio. It just so happens that it's going to cost me $100. And that message is huge when you're trying to get people into the club because I don't need to get to 50 members. What I need is to do good in the world, right? I need to accomplish this goal that I've set in the community to do good in the community. And in order to do that goal, it just happens that I'm going to need more people. So when we're talking about numbers today, I want you to also internalize that when you're choosing those numbers, it's why do I need these people? Why are we trying to to raise this money. And make sure that these numbers that we're setting today are your internal message and goals. We're trying to get to this many members. We're trying to raise this much money. But then when you're talking externally, what I need is not members. What I need is to convince more people to do good in the world. These numbers are going to tell me whether I'm good at doing that or not. And what I need is to also convince them that they can do more good through Rotary than they can just by themselves. So I hope that message really sticks with you as we move into this next part, which is the super technical, dirty stuff. Okay? Before we do, I would love if you dropped in the chat, what ways are you tracking what your club does now? Do you track fundraising? Do you track participant engagement? Do you track the impact to your projects? Go ahead. I'm going to give you a minute to think of something and put it in the chat about one way that your club is tracking anything. All right, here we go. Club engagement. Fantastic. That's okay, Jim. My club too. We're doing a terrible job of tracking anything. We track sponsorships, funds, fantastic. Volunteer hours on a Google Sheet, great. That's another thing that Jack TB or Club Runner can do, track volunteer hours, that my Rotor can't. Tracking engagement on projects and socials. We track the impact of the biggest project, which is a global grant. Absolutely. I mean, if you got to track anything, it's a global grant. I mean, they'll track you to your home. They want all the information. I'm just kidding about that. They really won't stalk you. Global grants, of course. Membership, you're tracking that number going up and down. Fundraisers, volunteer hours. Okay, great. I'm glad that some of you are already in the habit of tracking something in your clubs. Now, when we get into Rotary Club Central, there are lots of goals. I think it's 26 different goals that you can set, but you don't have to set all 26. There are 6 priority goals that Rotary International is asking you to please set. So we'll talk about the first 3 here. Club membership. This is a net, like a gross goal. So if you have 50 members right now, they're asking you to put in how many members you'd like to end up with a year. So you wouldn't put 5 if you want to get to 55. You'd actually put 55 in there. So that is your number at the very end of the year is what you want to put in there. Rachel.
I noticed that there's a goal for membership, but then
Mhm.
there's also a separate goal for sponsoring. And so I thought it was really weird because shouldn't that be the same number? Shouldn't we want the same? Doesn't every member have to be sponsored?
So let me go in there, and when we get to that button, let me just read what's right next to it so I can answer that question correctly, okay? If you want to write that question in the chat, Rachel, then I won't forget about it as I'm scrolling through it. So this club membership goal is the number of members you want to have at the end of the year, okay? Strategic plan. This is asking you to please just at least talk about what your plan is as a club. So if you actually have a meeting with your club leadership about these goals, you can go right in there and toggle that and said, yes, I did it. Service participation. This is how many people in your club participated in anything this year. You got 20 people, but you only ever see 10 of them. And you are saying, you know what, my goal is to get at least 15 of these 20 people out to a service project this year. That's what this goal is. Do those 3 goals make sense? The next 3 goals are all foundation related. And some of the bigger clubs and the more active clubs and global grants really understand why this is necessary. And some of the newer clubs and some of the smaller clubs sometimes get really flustered that they have to set these goals. There's the Polio Plus Foundation fund contribution goal, the annual fund contributions, and benefactors. There's not enough time for me to explain what all these funds mean. Please ask your Rotary Foundation coordinator. But one thing that I want to leave you with is a statistic that Jeff Cochran tells me all the time, is that if a new member gives to the Rotary Foundation twice within the first 18 months of joining on their own accord, some clubs like heavily promote it and don't really talk about the foundation. But if a person is inspired to give twice within the first 18 months, they will be a lifelong giver. And if they're a lifelong giver, they're a lifelong member most likely. And so it's really important that even if you set a goal of 0 for benefactors, that you're thinking about this in your strategic plan, being like, how am I at least letting my club know that these things exist? And so I ask that even if you're putting very low numbers or even zeros for any of these categories, that you're still thinking of ways to promote the foundation within your clubs, even if people aren't giving. I have so many reasons why somebody should join a service organization. But when people ask me specifically why I should join Rotary instead of Lions or Kiwanis, I say the Rotary Foundation. It is really the thing that sets us apart from a lot of other organizations. All right, we're ready. We're ready to go into Rotary Club Central. I'm ready. Are you guys ready? So, watch, my Rotary's probably just logged me out. That would be so like my Rotary. Yes, it did. Session has expired. Okay. Well, I'll just log in together then. Sign in. If you are not already in, please sign into my Rotary. All right, are we in? Hopefully we are. Something I mentioned in our pre-presentation is that there's lots of ways to get to where you're going. Rotary Club Central, I wish I could do a scavenger hunt to see how many times it appeared. If I click here, it's is it on this page? Yep, Rotary Club Central button right here. Rotary Club Central button right here. You're going to see a lot of repeats for different ways to get to a place because they want to help. Another Rotary Club Central button. So you're going to be able to see it right down here. You have your name and your clubs. If you keep scrolling, you got 6 buttons for the 6 most popular things here on my Rotary. And the very first one is Rotary Club Central. Elizabeth, we can talk afterwards or you can send a message to that email address at the very beginning, which I'll put in the chat again, on how we can get you past that barrier.
I'll take care of that for you, Angela.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, we have made it into Rotary Club Central. I mentioned that if you're seeing your club right here, that's exactly what you should see. If you don't see your club, sometimes you need to go to this drop-down menu and choose your club. You might be able to see all the clubs in the district. You got your club right here. I'm going to talk about goals in a second, but we'll just take a little tour of Rotary Club Central. I'm not going to tell you everything there is to know about the global summary. There's lots of information about your clubs and the goals that you have set before, but there's worldwide for our zone, for the district, and for our club group, for your club group. If you're an assistant governor, you'll have a club group. But you'll be able to see different things going on in the district. I'll let you poke around there. I think it's very self-explanatory if you look at it. Same thing with your trends. You can see your membership trends and the trends of the goals that you've set. Again, worldwide with your zone, your district. If you're an AG, you'll have a club group, and then again with your club. Service projects. We're going to talk about the Service Project Center in a little bit to be able to set that goal. But in order to enter your service projects, you need to go to the Service Project Center. I have a webinar recording for you if you would like to see how to enter them there. But it's important to know that if you want to get to the Service Project Center, this is a great way to get there. Service projects, and then clicking on the Service Project Center. Resources. These are not all of Rotary International's resources, but a couple of our favorites in each of the categories. So you're welcome to look through these, click on them. And if you have any questions, please reach out and let us know like what you could use it for. Sometimes you look at the Rotary Club Health Check and you're like, I need help in all these areas. Where do I even start? It's a perfect reason why you should call me or you should call Harris, and we'll be happy to talk you through it and help you find out what's the best for you. Reports. You've got membership engagement, you got Rotary Foundation, you got service here at the top. My favorite report is club membership profile. When you click on it, you're going to choose the current month that you're in, and then you can poke around in that. This report's my favorite. All right, let's go back to goals. Here we go. Josh, for limited access, Try clearing your cache and your history first, and then let's see if we fix that problem. All right. In the Rotary Club of Phoenix, that's my club. That's where we are right now. I'm sharing my screen from my own club instead of impersonating somebody. You've got years down here. You can click back to see prior goals. You can see our current year's goals. If you are currently in a leadership position of your current year, like a foundation chair or you're an AG, you're going to have an edit button here. If you're a president-elect and that's your only role, then you likely will not see an edit button for this year's goals. So what we want to do is click over to where this says 2627, and that is your year as president. Okay? I'm going to give you guys a second to get to this spot. You're seeing your club name here, and you see 2627 underneath, which is your year. We went over some technical things earlier. You should see a blue edit button here, but you might see a save and cancel button, right? Yes, I can. Lainey can put my email in the chat right there. Okay. If you need me to stop, you can raise your hand if I'm going way too fast. This is also being recorded, and you can watch it as many times as you want. I would be happy to put you to sleep, like a podcast every night. Just press play. All right. We are in 2627, and we are editing goals. Now, this club is very forward thinking, not to praise my own club, but what we want is for every time you're going to sit down and set goals, you're setting this year's goals, your goals, and the next year's goals, right? So the president-elect of my club is going to come here and say, there's already goals set. I don't need to set goals. No, I need to reevaluate goals. If your current president was following this new method of rolling goals, you will see goals already input into your presidential year. That doesn't mean that you don't get to set your own goals. These are rolling goals. You will set goals in this section, and then you're going to go over to the next section and set goals there too. You're going to set goals for your president-elect that they will change. What we want to do is be able to see this line. I'm creating these goals with those goals in mind. In 2028, I hope we have this many members. And in order to have this many members in 2028, how many members do we need to get in my year? What's my goal for my current president? All of these goals, we should be talking to each other, planning together. I'm not stepping on the toes of my future the president that comes after me by inputting goals. I'm showing them this is what I had in mind when I set my own goals. Does that make sense? Yes, okay, I'm seeing some nods. I'm going to stay on the 2728 page only because this is the view where there are no goals entered. And I think this is the screen where you're seeing where there's a lot of little red boxes. Probably. Okay. So once you hit edit, it's not going to let me hit edit again. So I've got save and cancel here, which means I'm in. If you do not see save and cancel, hit the edit button and you'll be where I'm at. Club membership and strategic plan, service participation, and the 3 foundation goals have these big stars next to them. Again, they're the priority goals, the 6 goals that Rotary International is asking you to set. They are always up at the top. Down here, you have a ton of other goals that you can set. Now, there's no function of this Rotary Club Central for you to create a custom goal, but I applaud you for setting whatever goals that make sense for your club, even if you can't track it in Rotary Club Central, if you've got something very specific that you'd like to track yourself. Social activities, service projects, new member sponsorship. How many members will sponsor a new club member during the Rotary year? Okay, I'm glad I read this. Rachel, this is the answer to your question. Maybe I got just one guy that's bringing in all these new members. There's just one person, 1 or 2 people that are just really excited about new members, but nobody else is bringing in new members. This goal is how many of my current members do I want to bring in a new member? So maybe I'm going to get 5 new members, but I want 3 people at least to bring in those instead of that one person. Does that make sense?
It does, and it also answers why we have different people sponsor all of our new members.
Trying to hit that goal. Great. Awesome. Is there another question?
Yeah, Angela, we've got a couple questions in the chat, if you don't mind. If you don't mind,
Sure.
scrolling on up to the top and just demonstrating again really quick how to toggle between Rotary years.
Absolutely. It is underneath the name of your club. You've got the years right here and these little arrows to the left and right. So you can go all the way back to last Rotary year, 2024, and all the way to 2027, 2028.
And for those people that might be having trouble saying they can't access, it could be because they're in the wrong year. So they want to make sure they're in 26, 27, especially PEs on this call, correct?
If you are in Rotary Club Central and can see this page and do not have an edit button, that's my first recommendation, is to scroll years to see if now if the later years now have access to edit. If you cannot get to this page at all, that's where you need to clear your cache and history and try again. If you're on this page and everything looks right, and in none of the years you don't have an edit button in any of the years, then that is likely that you're not reported correctly in the system, or there's some sort of glitch. There are plenty of glitches. AGs, I feel like if you're an AG, like this website is just not going to work right sometimes. I'm a former AG, and I submit a lot of IT tickets for Rotary Club Central, and they have to toggle some things back and forth. So I'm going to also put my name into the chat, my email address into the chat, and some of these very specific things that might need an IT ticket or might be something specific with your browser or computer. We can stay after and talk about them, but then also we can talk about them a little bit later and try and get those ironed out before you get to PELS. Okay? Well, the IT team is working really hard. Specifically, they're prioritizing Rotary Club Central goals during this PELS season because they know it's really important, because we have your attention right now to be able to enter these goals. All right. Any other hot questions right now?
That's
There's
all.
one up at the top. I just want to, 1 second here. Yes, okay. I'm going to answer Anne Moreno's question from before now. Her question before this session started was in the goals section. How does Rotary know my achievements during the year? So that is coming up right now. Again, I'm in a different year so that I can show you what this red stuff looks like. I cannot click on this. I can't enter anything into this goal. The first thing I have to do to enter the goal is to click select goal. As soon as I hit select goal, I can put 110. I can put whatever my goal is for that year, and then it turns off. I can't toggle this achievement, but if I select the goal, I can say yes, we planned, or no, we haven't planned yet. Okay, so you're gonna at least hit select goal on the 6 priority goals, of course, and enter your numbers. But in any other goals section, you can choose whichever goals you'd like to set. Now, how does Rotary International know what you've achieved? If you do not have an input here, that means that Rotary Club Central is talking directly with the reports, and it's going to draw in those numbers. If you look at your current year, you can see that the goal was 115, not hitting it. Sometimes I'm a little embarrassed to do this about my own club. But you've got an achievement of 50 for service participation, but there's nothing here. We'll see why later. We had a goal of raising $23,000. That's pulling directly from the system. And so it's telling us exactly how much we raised. We had a goal of $1,000 for polio. That's exactly how much we raised. We had a goal of getting 3 new benefactors. We haven't gotten them yet. And that is pulling, again, directly from the system. You can see that we apparently chose to do almost all the goals. And if every time it's a nothing here, like a little dash, that means that we need to input that we did it or we didn't do it. And then if there's a 0 or a number, that means it's pulling directly from somewhere else. So let's take a look again here. If I select this goal of membership, of course, you're going to put in a membership goal. It's going to start counting this number as soon as that year starts. If you select this, you actually have to come in and click that achievement. Yes, we got it. No, we didn't. Service participation. There's really no way for Rotary to track how many people you have that showed up to an event. So if you have 20 people in your club and you wanted 15 to participate, when you were tracking it on your own, you would come in here and say, actually, 18 people did. And then it has a little check mark, goal achieved. Woohoo! But we didn't, not yet. This is the future. I'm only predicting the future. Okay? So let's go down to, I think some of these money ones are self-explanatory. Look at your other years. Find out what makes sense for you. Talk to your foundation chair of your district or your foundation chair of your club. If you don't have a club foundation chair, ask the district foundation chair to come in and talk to your club about what are benefactors, what is Polio Plus. All right, service projects. This, again, is not a goal that you must set. It's a goal that you can set. But if you set this goal and you say, I want to do 4 service projects this year, once a quarter, depends on the kind of club, you might think that's really low. But you can see that this is not something you can just say yes or no to. There's this thing called the Service Project Center, which I mentioned when we were over here in service projects. The Service Project Center is an amazing place where all clubs enter the cool projects that they're doing and the impact they're having. It's also a really great place to look for ideas about projects that you could do, different types of fundraisers, different types of events, youth projects, global grants. All of these exist within the Service Project Center. If you enter your project into the Service Project Center, it will count it right here. All right. Once you hit select your goals and enter the goals, the goal numbers here, you can click save and it will save. And I would be remiss if I didn't show you that at the top of this screen, it's got 4 different categories for the 4 parts of the action plan. You can see how it's really woven through everything that we do and we just don't notice it. So if you are looking to do one specific thing, you can go to that tab if you want, but I would recommend for this exercise to stay on all goals. Now, right now, I want you to have your club right here. I want you to have your year right here. I want you to click edit. So you're editing your own year. And I'm going to look at the chat and I'm going to be answering questions. But at this time, start entering some goals. Okay, go ahead and start entering some goals. When you hit a snag, raise your hand. Let me know. That's my email address in the chat. I'm going to get my bookings link for y'all. We do have our goals in for next year, but you cannot enter them. So Elizabeth, you are looking at the year 2026, 2027, and you see your club at the top, but you don't have a blue edit button?
I can't look at 2026, 2027 because it says I have limited access, and maybe that's because I can't clear my cache. I don't know why that is. Anyway, I can't. I'm following your thing, but I'm not.
Okay, good. Luckily, this is going to be recorded, and so when
Yeah.
you're able to clear your cache, you can rewatch, or you can also contact the service center, which let me see if totally still had it. RSC at supportcenter.rotary.org. It's in the chat. Is the Rotary Support Center. They are really good. Now they're going to just tell you to clear your cache. Just letting you know. That's the first thing they're going to respond to you with. So you're also welcome to CC me on those. Sometimes you get a better response.
But I think Apple has to tell me how to clear my cache because when I'm looking up on Google, doesn't correspond to what I see on the screen. So I will call them tomorrow. Thanks.
Okay, Joe. So despite the pink rectangle, it doesn't let you enter goals. So if you're at here and it's not letting you enter the goal in the pink rectangle, have you selected the goal already, Joe? Because if you select the goal, then you should be able to enter it.
I was having that same issue until I did all those little green check boxes. Then when I saved that, then it let me edit it.
Perfect. This big link that I just put in there, that is a bookings link to book directly with me. If you have one very specific question, you're welcome to email it to me or again to contact the support center. If you have larger questions about like what goals should I set and how do I motivate my club to achieve these goals and how do I some of these larger questions like what is a good goal? I would be really happy to meet with you for a longer period of time for that. But if I can answer it via email, sometimes people schedule for half an hour to ask me a question I could have answered over email. And so I just wanted to tell you that I'd be happy to answer it via email as well. In the online presence, do you click achievement or wait till that goal is met? So that is an easy goal to achieve, especially when you already have an online presence, right? I think yeah, you can toggle it. You can toggle it if you'd like. For example, I can see that somebody in my club for 26-27, a year we're not in, has already toggled the strategic plan. Because we talked about it. There is a strategic plan. They did have a strategic planning meeting for it. They have already achieved it. So they toggled it. So if you are setting the online presence goal and you have an online presence, you might personally say, well, I want to increase my online presence. So definitely an honor system there. Will the chat be preserved? Lainey.
I don't believe so, but at the end of this recording, because we're going to be uploading this to YouTube and putting it on the Far West Pels website, and there was an earlier question about will this be shared? We will email the link to that video out. Expect a message PEs next week with some final reminders for the Far West Pels event, and we'll make sure that the link is in that email for you as well. But at the end of this, we will revisit the emails. I have a slide here we can show on the screen. So if that's what you're worried about losing, we'll make sure that we have that for you.
Club Runner questions and DAC-DB questions, you're going to want to go straight to their support. So when you log into their system, there's like a contact us or a support or a help button within those. I'll also say that both systems struggle sometimes with syncing. And so I would encourage you, even though that's not the topic of this session, I would encourage you to go on to My Rotary and check how many members you have before each billing cycle. Because if it's different, you will get billed for what is in My Rotary. So if you've got 20 members in My Rotary, but you deleted 10 of them in Club Runner, it doesn't matter. You're going to get billed for 20. You must make sure that it's syncing. And if it's not syncing, you always go to Club Runner and DAC-DB, and they'll show you where you can click a button to resync it in the system. So make sure you're doing that in December and you're doing that in June.
Should I be looking at the membership and foundation reports to see where do I see our current members?
So when you are here, when you're in Rotary Club Central, you can run a report and you can click on members in a club. That's going to show you all your current members. This again is within the RI system because this lives on My Rotary. It's all part of that synergy. But if you run a report on Club Runner, it's gonna run Club Runner numbers. So if you're like, I ran a report, it said that, but if you ran it from Club Runner, it's running Club Runner numbers. So you're gonna want to run it from here. But if you're also on My Rotary, you can click on your club. You can click on your club. Membership Foundation reports, again, is one of the big 6 buttons here. You're going to be able to find lots of the reports that also exist on Rotary Club Central. You got your okay. I am not a club president of my club, so I can run foundation reports, but within this, you're going to be able, here, Rotary Club members. Okay. I don't have access that you guys are going to have access because I'm not a president of my club and I'm not impersonating one of you. But in that section, you're going to find more reports. But to keep you in the same spot, you can find that report right here, members in the club. That's going to show you the RI's list of members.
Okay, and you were saying within Club Central, we can add and delete members?
Within, here, give me 1 second here. Let me impersonate somebody so that I can show you for real what it's going to look like for you.
And Angela, while you're pulling that up, I'm just going to jump in and add a couple things to jump on to Rachel's original question. So I want to let all of you know that at Far West Pels, both Club Runner and ActDB will have a presence. They will have tables available where you'll be able to speak one-on-one with some of their tech support and developers. So if you have specific questions about the functionality of either of those products, they'll be there. So be sure to find time to go by their tables. And if you have a really complicated table, they're wonderful. They'll take down your information. They'll schedule a time to follow up. Also, don't be afraid to reach out to your district secretary. We have a mixed Far West Pels lineup. So districts 5130, 5160, 5170, 5220, and 5230. Those districts are mainly DAC-DB clubs. There's some exceptions. And then districts 5150, 5180, and 5190, they are club runner clubs. So districts rather. So typically those district secretaries are amazing support mechanisms for you to answer some of those questions as well. So I just want to throw that up for additional context on the training and support questions. Back to you, Angela.
Awesome. So I'm trying to hide some personal information here, okay, because I'm impersonating somebody else, but it is still part of my club. I'm going to hit View Club. And when I'm in View Club, let me just wait for this site to load so I know what I need to cover up. All right, so this is just information about my club. So you can see a bunch of different information about my club once I'm there. We meet at Seasons 52. Come and see us at noon on every other Friday, roughly every 2 weeks. We're very precise. You can see all of our club information, and you have members, finance, reports, and goals. And then if I click on members, again, I'm going to just hide the screen really quickly to make sure that I'm not revealing personal information. Because as club presidents, we can see information that is not necessarily for everybody to see, but it's something that you could see because you're club president. So when I click on members, I can see, yep, it's got a bunch of emails. And then right at the top, so let me just get in here and go like this. At the very top, you can see before there's a list of members underneath that you can't see here. But you got add a member, you can manage your club law officers, and you can download your member list. So without having any personal information on here, the rest of the page is showing you the information about your club members. So that is where you add and delete members. Oh, somebody's got built-in tech support. That's awesome. Okay, well, the formalness of this presentation is over. And if you've got more specific questions, I don't remember. I've got so many screens open, everybody. I don't even know how to stop share at this point. Oh, there it is. Stop share. Welcome back. This concludes the formal presentation. If you've got additional questions that are more specific and personal, absolutely. You've got my name in the chat. You've got my email address. Of course, you've got Lainey and all the other support in your district. I see some district governors here. But thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Angela. We really appreciate your time as well. And we appreciate everyone making the effort to be here. I'm going to do a very not as well prepared lame screen share, but this is more for the replay for folks that are watching the recording because we're going to work through adding the chat. But again, if you're having issues with your my Rotary login, or you're getting that limited access issues, this is the email address for Rotary Support Center. So please make a note of it. The folks at Rotary are awesome. And even though the software doesn't always want to play nice, the people at Rotary do. And so they're willing to help you work through that and help you get the connection that you're looking for. For everybody that's planning to go to Far West Pels, we're so excited to welcome you to San Jose in just a few weeks. I mentioned this earlier, but be on the lookout for an email sometime next week. That's the week of March 2nd. We're going to be sending you just some reminders of things either to bring or things you should do just prior to arriving to San Jose, as well as what to expect when you first get there. I know a few of you have joined us before at this event, and we're excited to have you back, but many of you are brand new. And so we hope this email will help put you on the right footing for what will I will definitely be an energetic, action-packed, and inspiring weekend, except we won't have Angela in the karaoke room this time, but everything else is going to be phenomenal. So with that, we do have a few minutes left. If you do have any last questions, otherwise we will go ahead and wrap up and give you all a few minutes back of your evening.
I did just have a question about the strategic plan goal. Is that just basically you set a goal, if you achieve it, you mark yes?
Yes, you
Is
just
that
toggle the switch. And it's definitely one of those, it exists to remind you to have the conversation. There's no specific form you need to fill out. That's a strategic plan. It's like if you're meeting with your board or with your in a club assembly to just talk about the future and like how you're trying to achieve these goals, you can toggle that switch.
okay? Okay, perfect. And then you were saying also that you pretty much you can use my Rotary to pretty much do everything you would do in DAC-DB, or I mean, I know people still use it, but is it necessary?
So maybe saying that you can do everything in My Rotary that you could do in DAC-DB or Club Runner is not correct. There are lots of things that Club Runner and in DAC-DB can do that My Rotary cannot do. So there's definitely value in having it. What I want to say is that clubs can exist without it. So clubs can choose to not have it and exist. They do need other tools, and they're mixing and matching tools like having a payment method and having a thing to send a bunch of emails out and file storage and all these things. But so that's what I'm saying. There's value to having those but you can't exist without them. They're not mandatory. However, your district may be paying for a subscription. Sometimes districts pay for it, in which case, why not use it?
Okay. And then just curious, is there any sort of, I mean, obviously everybody can access my Rotary, but like, is there like a platform where like if you had events scheduled for your Rotary Club that everybody could see it? Like everybody could see every member, everybody could see every event that you're doing?
Not within My Rotary, but I'm not versed in DAC-DB or Club Runner enough to know if they have those. Go ahead, Lainey.
I will jump in and just say, and first of all, let me start this conversation by saying I'm platform agnostic. So I'm not going to vouch for either product. They are very similar in what they offer. So that's where these tools can really come in and add an extra layer of local support to your club and your district. So they often offer added features like a calendaring function. You can promote your events. You can sell tickets to your event, especially if you have a public facing event. They also offer other features such as email service. So if you want to email all your club members, especially if you have a very large club, or you want to segment that into committees. Some of these tools also offer like membership lead type support. So let's say you had some folks visit your club, you get their emails, you add them in as a prospective member. You can start to, engage them and by sending your newsletter to them or whatever it may be. So there's a lot of features out there. I encourage anybody who doesn't have a product like that. I'm not saying you have to have one, as Angela said, totally right. You don't absolutely need one to function as a club. But if this is a function that your club is considering exploring, like, yeah, we do want to have a centralized email system, or we do want a better way to sell tickets, then certainly go talk to the software providers that are at Far West Pels in San Jose in a couple of weeks. They'll be able to walk through all the different functionality, and you can find a product that might be the perfect fit for your club.
And I mean, I feel like our club is on DAC-DB, but well, I know they are, but as far as utilizing that goes, do you know if there's any trainings out there for utilizing it?
I'm not supposed to know anything about it, but DAC-DB is something my club uses. There's a lot of trainings out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, for both products, just Google like the product name, so DAC-DB or Club Runner, and then type like trainings or support center. And both of them have a pretty comprehensive support center online already, where they'll either have pre-recorded webinars or really easy step-by-step web pages that you can follow to do a whole host of things. And then again, having experience with both of them, they also have pretty good support teams. So if after looking at the support centers, you're like, it's still not working, or I'm still not sure, you can reach out. They usually get back to you within, 2 to 3 days. And they're very patient. We've had some really interesting issues pop up in our district, and they've been exceedingly patient to walk us through some of those things. So, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Love
There's
it.
one more question in the chat about a general description of Rotary Fellowship participation. And the word fellowship, it gets thrown around all the time. But the official Rotary Fellowships is, you can actually, if you Google Rotary Fellowships or go to my Rotary, and you can, in one of the drop downs, you can see Rotary Fellowships. Those are the special interest group. So, for example, I am in the Sewing and Fiber Arts Fellowship, so a bunch of sewers. I'm also in the, like, you got a Beer Drinkers Fellowship and a Wine Drinkers Fellowship, and like a People Who Like to Bike Fellowship. They just created a new video game fellowship, which I'm super excited about. So it's where, when you got people in your club, especially in a small area, you're like, I need more of my members to get connected with the international community. You can connect them with Rotary Action groups, which are the project-based groups, or you can connect them being like, hey, these people would love to like meet up with other Rotarians on their trips and drink wine with people. They should really get connected with the fellowships. So that goal is about how many members are you hoping are actively involved with the Rotary Fellowships?
And one more question. It's way up in the chat, and I answered it a little bit, but it might be good for everyone to hear. And I think this is still the case, Angela, that the Rotary Award of Excellence, what used to be known as the Presidential Citation, this is for all you PEs that like a little competition, right? Talk to us a little bit about, maybe 30 seconds about the award, but more importantly, how that connects to goals in Rotary Club Central.
First of all, I want to say to Joe, because she was like, fellowships, wow, I thought it was Paul Harris Fellows. I'm like I said, they throw that word around really willy-nilly. All the like Peace Fellows, like it's all over the place. But yes, but with this Club Excellence Award, the name changed actually under Stephanie Urchek, and uh, I love a competition. I love the opportunity to see how I'm doing, and I love to be recognized. Usually at like a district conference is when they would recognize people with the Club Excellence Award. And you can but you have to go in and update your goals, right? You have to put in goals, and then you have to update them. So we saw that some of them update by themselves, like membership and foundation. They pull those names, but the ones that like the service participation and the toggle, if you don't toggle those over, then you won't win the award. And so the Club Excellence Award is something that's it's a lot of fun to compete with the other clubs about setting your goals and achieving them.
Mm-hmm. And you need to have achieved is about half of the 26 goals, or does that vary by year?
That's actually a great question. I do not remember the precise amount of goals. That maybe we'll put that in the follow-up. Or do you know, Sam?
Yeah, I was just recently told it had to be a minimum of 13 goals that you achieved.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Which I will encourage you all to say that's actually easier than you think. So don't think, oh, that's a lot. It's very doable. So I say
somebody in here was
it.
already toggling one.
I know. I hope I can't wait to see every single name in this participant list as a recipient of a Rotary Club Excellence Award at the end of 2027. So let's do it.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, we are at time. Again, thank you all for your wonderful participation. I hope this was helpful to you. I look forward to seeing your goals in the, well, I can actually see them, but I know it will help you in your goal planning as well as your planning for your term as president. Again, any questions you have, certainly reach out to that Rotary Service Center email. We also have a number of resources on the Far West Pels website at farwestpels.org. So go surf over there. Other than that, we look forward to seeing you in San Jose in just a few days. So until then, adios. Have a good evening, everyone.